Lockman. As many of you know, I was the first to propose a permit to purchase law in Delaware back in 2019, the first half of the 150th General Assembly. And I eagerly co-sponsored this bill when Senator Lockman introduced a permit to purchase bill in the 151st General Assembly. And now, here we are in the 152nd General Assembly with a permit to purchase bill that has been worked on for over 4 long years. And I am convinced that third time is the charm. This is the time we will see permit to purchase pass both chambers and get signed into law. What a difference 4.5 years makes. Gun violence continues to plague our communities as much now as it did then, but today we have the leadership and the political will to make this policy change that will save lives. I want to commend Senator Lockman for her diligence in advancing this policy and bringing forward a new version of the bill that includes reasonable compromise and careful consideration of how to address the gun violence we see here in the first state far too frequently. She has met with groups who have long been advocating for the kind of responsible gun ownership that the vast majority of Delawareans want us to pass. Groups like Moms Demand Action, Delaware Coalition Against Gun Violence, March for Our Lives, but she has also met with police, she has met with gun shop owners, she has met with sportsmen, and she has met with hunters. This legislation is a product of those conversations. We hear a lot from Second Amendment advocates about not infringing on their rights. And we have a bill here that upholds the right to bear arms, but that also elevates those unalienable rights our founding fathers fought the War of Independence to protect: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. None of these rights are possible if we cannot attend church, buy groceries, enjoy a concert or a movie, go to school to get our education without fear of dying a totally preventable death by gun violence. The Constitution guarantees our freedom of speech, but you still need to get a permit for demonstrations when it might impact community safety. The Constitution guarantees our right to vote, but you still have to register. Senate Bill 2 creates reasonable and welcome safety limits to handgun ownership that balances public safety and constitutional rights. These are smart policies residents in my district asked time and time again when I first knocked doors as a candidate 5 years ago, and then when I knocked doors again last year, and now in the emails I'm receiving daily leading up to today. When I was teaching public school, my students and I were blessed that we never experienced a school shooting. But you know what my students did experience, and what students experience every single day across the state? Everyday gun violence, handgun violence, that injures and often takes the lives of their friends, their family members, and sometimes their own. I have lost students to gun violence, and I have taught students who survive shootings physically but bear the emotional scars of witnessing it, of losing a loved one to it, or of just barely escaping it themselves. And I have taught students who bore physical scars as well, students who were indeed hit by bullets but not killed. Even a student who had a bullet in his arm when he came back to school after a week's absence, bandaged, shaken, and struggling to heal. This is exactly the kind of gun violence that permit to purchase addresses by reducing the number of guns falling into the wrong hands. Everyday gun violence. Those young people, the ones growing up in fear of being shot, growing up without a father, uncle, or mother because they were shot and killed, the ones who made themselves one day end up incarcerated because of a poor decision involving a gun, a decision that would not have been deadly were it not for that gun. Those young people are the reason I have not given up on passing permit to purchase, and I'm so grateful that we stand here fighting for it once again, knowing in my heart that this time we will get it done for our children, for our communities, and for ourselves. Thank you.